Hey guys, this is Sarah of DaisyAreFullBlog.com, and I wanted to talk to you again about the different stages of what your brain has to go through when you're dealing with grief. Now, personally, I have had my own grief. My husband died 6 years ago, unexpectedly. I'm not expecting it whatsoever. I had a child who was 2.5 years old at this point, and it was rough. Um, Recently, I've had several of my friends die, and the impact on this to my heart has been so profound that even though I've already dealt with loss before, I think the more you deal with it, the more actually it affects you. And the reason why I want to have this talk today is I want to explain to you about what your brain goes through when you have to deal with these situations. So what I'm going to talk to you about is how your brain psychologically goes through these things. It's called the task of grief. And if you want to break it down to it, it's the tier method of grief. It's to accept the reality of the loss. It's to experience the pain of the loss. It's to adjust to the new environment. It's to reinvest in the new reality. And then my own addition to it is that you have to be a phoenix. You have to become more than dull. Now, all of these stages can be very different for everybody because everybody's task of grief, everybody's journey is very different. But the first one is to accept the reality of the loss. This is the T of the tier model. To accept the reality of the loss. The first step is to reconcile your heart with your head. This could be the longest and hardest part of your journey. A lot of people go through the idea that you have a year to grieve and then you're done with it and then it gets better. And in truth, that's kind of right and kind of wrong. The first year is really, really tough. It's your first year where you're going through different milestones, where you're going through things by yourself, without your partner there, without you, or whoever you've lost without you. And it really hurts. But when the year's done, it's not done for you. You've just gone past that year. Sorry, but it's true. Because now you have to go through another year and another year and another year. And every time you go through another milestone, I promise you, it will get better. It will hurt, but it will get better. Your heart and your head have to reconcile with your loss. Your heart is so overwhelmed with what's going on. And your head is like, but this has happened. And how is this not? You don't understand this, and your heart's like, but they're not here, and I need them, and yeah, it takes a long time, guys. I'm not gonna promise you it's gonna be easy, but you'll get through. The next step of the tier method is the E of the method. Experience the pain of the loss. Everyone experiences the pain of loss differently. It can affect you physically, mentally, and emotionally. Avoiding these feelings will prolong your grief. Now, one of the things that has come up to me recently from my clients is they've said that they are constantly waking up, remembering how it was to find their partner dead. Um, I've gone through that. I've seen it, and what I did is that I constantly replayed it in my mind and again and again and again until I saw every single detail, until I got the flash forwards and the flashbacks and the zoom ins, the zoom backs, until I saw everything and every particular detail that could happen. And then it stopped. I still have these dreams apparently, and I still remember seeing him, but the impact was not nearly as hard as it was because I had to be able to deal with it. One of the things I can offer you, if you're interested, is a course which helps you deal with trauma and pain through creativity, which is through blogging or through painting or through other kind of creative activities that I can show you. But this is not part of the video right now. So to carry on, the third part of the tier method is to adjust to the new environment. Life will suddenly change. Things will never be the same as they were, and you must adapt to the new reality. You have to take on new roles and responsibility while discarding old identities. This was a hard one, guys. So, my identity for the longest time was the wife of a wonderful creature and the son to his boy, and a girlfriend and a best friend. And then, literally overnight, that changed, and I was a widow and a single parent. And now I had to take on the roles and responsibilities of the other parent that wasn't here anymore. And this doesn't just involve taking care of the kid, it involves the finances, it involves our the life we had and how our dreams were not going to be there anymore, and how I'm going to revisit that with just me as a widow as opposed to a loved one wife. It took, I don't know, a long time to figure out what that really means. But the reality of these roles that were thrust upon me was immediate. I'm sure you're going through that as well. You will figure out what's going on. All you have to do is, no, it's very simplistic. It's not all you have to do. It's a long, tough journey. You will figure out your new identity. Maybe it's a widow. My widow for me was my calling card. It was my strength. And it still is, really. And a mother to two young ones. Anyway, and relaxing. Now, the fourth step of the tier is the R, the reinvest in new reality. Take the emotional energy that has now been freed and use it to focus on the future. Discover strengths you didn't have before, skills you want to develop. I didn't realize that I was as strong as I was. Of course, I was strong before. Everyone's strong before. You've gone through trials and tribulations, and I've went through the hardest thing that I could ever deal with. And I took that emotional energy and I invested it in my son. And then after that, I invested it in creating a new life with my daughter, who's my gifted child. And then after that, I developed even more skills, which is reaching out to you guys and finding connections and seeing how I can help you, and really realizing how much of an impact I was. You have so many skills and so many things you can do. You can take the emotional energy and push forward. I promise you, you can do this. And the last one, which is not really canon, is something I've actually added to this myself, which is be a phoenix. As a phoenix rises from the ashes, so you will find a new brilliant identity. Life is fully beautiful. Embrace the depth of the world that brought you here. You can do this. You are so wonderful. I love you. Follow me at thedaysarefull.com. Subscribe to my emails. I will be there for you, I promise.